have a chip if you want.
I don't even have a mouth. No, but seriously, I want to play.
What are you playing?
Playing Super Mario Land 2.
More like Hog in Super Mario Land 2.
Alright, pretty cool. But are you sure you don't want to do a live stream or something for the good people out there?
Hey, the Mushroom Kingdom is not going to save itself.
Again with you and Mario. Look, dude, why don't you ever give Mario a break? We're all gonna be in Mario's camp, but like everybody else says, he's just been overexposed. Why don't you give him a break and come on with me and let's play another game like Legend of Zelda?
Look, well, every time I try to play a Legend of Zelda game, I either get lost or I don't know what to do, and eventually I just lose interest. Look, I respect the franchise, but it's just not for me, okay? Sorry.
Alright, hold on a sec. Let me make a deal with you. How about you take a break from that Mario game, let's go and play this new Legend of Zelda game that just came out today, mind you. I have a pretty good suspicion you're gonna enjoy it.
Alright. So what's it called?
The Brotherhood of Gaming video game show, the only video game show that knows that Link is the true face of Nintendo. I am your host, William Morris.
And I'm out of here.
Get back here. What can be said about The Legend of Zelda that hasn't been said a million times and over? It's one of the biggest cult classic iconic video games of all time. Yet, like all different things out there, there are people that either love it or hate it.
Look, man, you said I was going to really like this game. Now, were you being truthful or are you just jiving with me?
No, I am telling the truth. Like many other things in contrast to this one, there are differences that can be said when it comes to genres as well, and none can be further said about the newest installment in the Zelda franchise, Hyrule Warriors for the Nintendo Wii U. It does keep the heart of the series there, but it takes an entirely different approach at the whole Zelda series in general, something that most people might find new and refreshing, others might find it disgraceful, and a whole bunch of other terrible stuff we can't say on camera. But can we find out if Nintendo's ambitions were in the right, or is it just another failed experiment? Let's find out.
Without spoiling too much, things are peaceful in the land of Hyrule. Yet, Zelda and her guardian Impa by now have caught on to the unfortunate repetitions of history and anxiously look for a young man who will be the new bearer of the green tunic and become the hero of legend. Why they never just make a public announcement and ask if anyone in the world happens to have the name Link and be a natural blonde is beyond us. But some people have to do things the hard way. This only serves as a minor nitpick. But in almost every game, the characters look almost exactly like their ancestors, so why is it so hard to find them? Yeah, I know we're probably looking far deeper into this than we should, but I just can't let that go. Anyway, trouble starts to literally walk up to Hyrule, gee, there's a shock, and our valiant hero, whom happens to be closer than one thinks, springs into action.
From here, many familiar faces get introduced as a form of time travel occurs within the story arc. Kind of a popular story angle, but it does at least give a reason why so many characters appear at once, which excuses the game from the non-canon library on the grounds that it would just give an excuse for people not to think. Overall, the story is solid. It follows the Zelda lore and has a radical time doing it.
With Hyrule Warriors, the gameplay is actually the prime section, as it should be, because it's here that a lot of the options are available to the player. Now, first and foremost, as a lot of you may already know, Hyrule Warriors is a Nintendo-inspired adaptation of the famous Dynasty Warriors franchise. It even says it on the back.
So, the things that you would expect in those games are present here. Now, what those are exactly, well, we'll go into more detail.
Starting the game, you have Legends Mode, which will take you through the story of the game, also having you play as the required character for the story it's telling at the time. So you'll be playing as multiple characters in this adventure, like it or not. However, all of them have their own unique moves, weapons, and powers, all making them just as enjoyable to use and having the player get a bit of a learning curve with them. We don't say who all of the characters are, but the familiar ones are definitely present. Free mode is story mode, but it allows you to use any character you want through its level instead of the regular story focused one. Adventure Time is an interesting one. So far we've gathered that along a grid shape like the original Zelda over a map world, you can move along it trying to access more of it. Each time you do, you begin a level. After completing it, you can further progress and maybe use some items you found to find hidden secrets. This mode is fun, and it does allow you to unlock a lot of bonus material, so it's an interesting time killer. Challenge mode is just what it sounds like. It puts you in pretty weird scenarios, forcing you to overcome them with all you have acquired so far in the game. Progressing through the levels in story mode, or in any mode, will gain you experience via an RPG level grinding. Defeating foes and breaking objects will allow you to find hidden items you can use to increase your selected character's attributes, or others in the options menu. It's not the most user-friendly set of options, as you are given a lot to work with, so there will be some trial and error before figuring out how things properly work and how they affect the overall game. By finding multiple weapons, you can fuse some of their own attributes to make an even better one. You can also purchase badges for each character, granting them more combos, powers, abilities, defenses, and other things in the game. This is good, so it will keep the game from getting dull. As you select a character, you can choose what weapon they will take into combat. Each character is given a few or more throughout the game, which also adds more variety and fighting styles to learn.
While on the battlefield, it's treated like a realistic war, we think. Your goals are simple, however, accomplishing them is usually where the difficulty ranges. Taking over enemy camps and adding them to yours will keep you on the winning side. However, your army's forces can get overwhelmed, forcing you to stay on your toes and hop back and forth on the fly to keep the battle in your favor. All while trying to solve other objectives single characters may give you on the side. How you go about accomplishing your mission is up to you, and there's no penalty as long as you win. Needless to say, it's a lot of fun. Even if you do lose, the game has mercy, and instead of having you start over at the beginning, there are checkpoints in which you can start, as these levels can get pretty lengthy. Meanwhile, hidden throughout the stages are golden spiders, which if you're lucky enough to find one of them will unlock some nice extras and bonuses. So be sure to hunt for them on the side if you can afford to do so. We also have to mention Hyrule Warriors features a 2-player co-op mode, which is a welcome addition. In fact, the local multiplayer helps the game immensely. Having a buddy aid you in your missions will definitely help out in the long run, decreasing time and effort as you both will accomplish wonders. The lack of it being an online multiplayer is of little bother. With a player 2 on your side, he or she can play as any character available regardless of story limits. Unfortunately, player 1 has no such luck. Also kind of a downer is player 1 is stuck looking at his Wii U gamepad, while player 2 has the luxury of having the TV all to him or herself. No split screen options here.
So how do you play this damn game anyway?
Well, on the Wii U pad,
You have a basic attack used by the B button. You have a heavy attack that is used by the Y button. Chaining both of them together will give some pretty cool attacks. You have a dodge button, which is the A button, which will allow you to get out of some sticky situations. You have a super attack. When one of your gauges gets full, using the X button will trigger it. Some enemies will require a lock on. The L button serves this feature. LZ is guard. RZ enables you to use a sub-weapon, which, by the way, the D-pad will let you cycle through them. The R button, when used when your other gauge is full, will have your character go through a power-up phase. While in this focus phase, you can do any chain of combos with no worry, or you can unleash a powerful attack by pressing the X button. Doing so will revert you back to normal.
The music is flat out awesome. All the classic Zelda scores are here, done in the traditional orchestra and with rip-roaring heavy metal guitar.
which we think this might be the first time it's ever appeared in a Zelda game, actually.
You also have the option of picking the track that you would like to hear while you're devastating the hapless hordes they put in front of you. The familiar Zelda sound effects are all here as well, making some great window dressing during the adventure.
As far as voice acting goes, the way it's done here we felt was actually pretty clever. There's no actual words spoken, just some hems, ha's, laughters, grunts, and so on, while text boxes speak for the characters. In fact, the only voice acting in the game is done by the narrator. As demonstrated in Metroid Other M, putting voices to these classic Nintendo characters can seriously backfire. So to lessen the complaints from hardcore Zelda Knights, it was best that they went in this direction.
Hyrule Warriors is actually a really fun and a really good game. That being said,
this type of game is not for everybody. While there is a lot of strategy involved and careful planning depending on difficulty settings, some could find it getting a little too repetitive over time. However, there are also a lot of people who enjoy heavy hack and slash games. It's not a total mindless slasher, as once again there will be a lot of situations where you will have to think on your feet and fast. Having more players increases the replay value and enjoyment to a full level, and we would highly recommend it with a buddy. If you're a die-hard Zelda fan, you should have little problem enjoying this adventure as it still has the heart of the series there. However, if hack and slash, army type, war and conquer games aren't for you, then you may want to seek fun elsewhere. However, in the long run, Hyrule Warriors is definitely one you should try out before choosing not to.
well guys, there you have it. Our honest opinions on what we thought on The Legend of Zelda Hyrule Warriors. Now, tell us, did you guys agree with our assessment, or did you guys think that the game was a little too different for your tastes? Meanwhile, please feel free to comment in the section below and discuss down there what you guys think might be interesting games to try the Dynasty Warriors type of approach. Meanwhile, you've been watching the Brotherhoodofgaming.com. I am your host, William Morris. Please subscribe, comment, and follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google. And of course, as always, we'll see you next time with even more great game reviews. Now, come on, Gene, we have to end this.
Hey! Hyrule is not going to save itself!
And William wins.
Will always wins. Na